All right, looks good. My waves are bouncing. I'm looking at myself. This looks good.
Yeah, I know you're looking cute. You're looking.
I'm
good.
looking cute.
You're
yeah.
good. Yeah, you're cute, boy. What's up, dude?
Oh my god, you.
I like them clean lines on your beard. You looking good.
I fucked them up today
Did
or
you?
yesterday. Yeah, dude. They look so fucking dumb because they're supposed to circle out, and I fucking cut them too far. So then I had to do this weird like kind of J looking cut.
Yeah, don't you hate that when you trim a little bit too much on one side? So you're like, fuck, now I gotta mash it on the other side.
Yeah, so you just keep going down farther, and then
Yeah,
eventually
you just keep
have no
fucking up
beard.
the wrong side. So you're just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna have a mustache. It'll be fine.
I've been trying to get my wife to agree to let me have a mustache because I just want to do it. I want to rock it. You know, like this is the time. We're not going out. Like I want to just try different things. And she's so close-minded with changing things up. She's always like, anytime there's something about her hair, she's like, oh, should I cut it? I'm like, fucking shave it all off. Like, let's fucking go for it. Like, if you're gonna do it, do it big.
Spears, just go bald. Let's
fucking
see what's
do
up.
it. Like, what? I don't care. Hair grows back. Like, fuck it. Who cares? What do I have
Dude,
to?
the craziest things about girls is they're like, I'm gonna change my hair, and then they cut it like an inch. And you're
Yeah,
like,
dude. She's always like, oh, I need to cut it, and I'm like, yeah, you should cut it to like here, and I'll like grab it to like kind of around here, so it would be like
yeah, to like
this
show her
length.
where it's at.
Yeah, and she's like, no, she's like, it would be awful, and I'm like, well, how would
You're
you
like,
know?
then why are you getting it cut?
Yeah.
Like, what exactly are you cutting?
Gotta
I
cut
don't
them
understand.
split ends, baby.
Yeah, like when I got my hair cut and like I had long hair, it went from like past my shoulders to like head.
Yeah.
Like, it was like this long, and then when girls get their hair cut, they just take up like a smidge, just a little bit, and I'm like, what are you paying for that? Like, why? I don't understand.
How long did you have your hair back? Back in the day, how long did you have your hair to?
Oh, it was like past my shoulders.
Past your shoulders. I had down to like the half mark on my back. Yeah, dude. I had such
like
long
all
hair.
your hair. Or did you have a mullet?
No, like all my hair. Like I had a huge like my hair was long as fuck, and I used to.
You got that like Metalocalypse hair?
Yeah, I used to dye it too. I had bright orange hair at one point. That went that long down. I've had like every color you can think of in my hair.
I've never. Well, actually, I just waxed shit on my mic.
Whack it, baby.
I tried to dye my hair once, but since I have like my hair's kind of weird. Since I have like red hair, I either have to go like really far in one direction, otherwise it just won't dye. Like the dye won't hold, from what I understand.
Yeah, you have to bleach it first. Like,
well, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like I have to like go. I would have to go through a lot. So like, I tried to dye my hair brown. I think at one point, because my parents have brown hair.
You trying to be like Pop?
Yeah, I tried to be like Mama. And yeah, it didn't work. It was like still a redheaded little bitch.
No, yeah, I had to. Every time I colored it, I'd have to make myself blonde first. So I'd have to have just like blonde ass hair and then color whatever color I wanted.
Dude, the weirdest thing about it though is like even if I dyed my hair, my beard would still be red. So it's like I'm not gonna dye my beard.
Yeah, I never did. So, man, if I was gonna like do it all over again, like at this point in my life, I'd have to like really commit to the bit, because it's like you can't just be like when you're a teenager, it's like who fucking cares? He doesn't care what he looks like. Because I had these like bright orange hair, but I still had, my black fucking thick ass eyebrows, and like I had, the shitty like I'm still a kid kind of like mustache and beard growing in, so like all the patchy,
you have like
fuzzy.
the 3 hairs. You just feel cool. You like I'm a man now. I could grow a mustache. And you're just like, you got like a pube stash, bro. Like,
probably for a while. Yeah, I looked fucking trash, but I loved it back in the day. I don't know how I did it too, because like I was thinking about it the other day, because I have a bunch of friends who are growing their hair out now, and they all look kind of like that the soccer player look. They put like the band in their hair and they have it kind of like slicked back. And I was talking with my wife about it, and I was like, now's the time to do it. And I was like, but I don't think I'd ever grow my hair back out. One, because I don't think I would look good as that like soccer player look. But two, I live in Florida, and like I don't know how I dealt with how hot you get with hair. I tell my wife, because my wife complains about it too, because she gets like really heated, and she's like, oh God, it's so hot like under your hair, just because of living in Florida and all the humidity, and it's just the sun is blazing. And I'm like, that's why I always say, I'm like, just shave it off.
Yeah,
Just fucking
you're like,
axe
whatever,
it all.
dude. Let's see. You might like the wind on your scalp. You don't know.
You never know. I love the wind on my scalp, dude. It feels so good right after a buzz cut, like a real short buzz cut, and you get the wind through your hair. You're like, oh, what is
That freaked me out the first time it happened to me, where I was like, my head is cold.
Yeah. We should probably do the podcast.
Yeah, hello and welcome to Indie Pod, an indie games podcast, your weekly source for all the indie games news you need to know. This week, we're bringing you two somewhat stacked news stories before, of course, we hop in to News Cram. God bless the crowd, your listener questions, and more. But before we do that, I would like to introduce myself, Vaughn Hyde, alongside my illustrious co-host, the biggest of average, Josh Boys. How you doing today, Big Josh Boy?
I'm doing good. Are we going to keep all that that vamping at the front in this episode?
I don't fucking know. Yeah, we'll see.
All right, we'll find out. Well, if you
maybe I'll fuck the audio audience again and just like cut it out of the audio but leave it in the video and be like, you gotta watch it.
Gotta watch it. I was thinking about that the other day. We really need to promote that better because like our video,
like the video stuff.
Yeah, our video base is pretty
it's mostly just like our few patrons that just want to know exactly what was funny at one point in time. Yeah. Well, now that I'm working from home, I can actually like fuck with the Twitter all day versus before I would have to like turn my phone off and everything when I went into the office. So like I couldn't mess with it. So that's why the Twitter was like all weird. But I'm going to definitely get on there and start pimping out the video episodes because we get to see Big Josh Boy's beautiful face. And I always go like this. My illustrious co-host, the biggest ravage Josh Boys, you're on this side.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain. Well, no, okay, maybe. I don't know how this works. Actually, you might be on this side.
I think I'm on that side. Yeah, I think I am.
It's thrown me off because on the Discord, it's one.
It's always flopped. It's always like, It's always the other way.
And then on my OBS, it's flopped. I'm like,
it plays tricks with me because on my one screen, my monitor, I have OBS and our Discord server up. So I'm literally looking at me talking to me because it's flipped.
Yeah, this is freaking me out. Now that I just noticed that, I'm just like, it's not supposed to be there.
It looks like you're having a conversation with yourself. It's real weird.
Yeah, it's freaking me out a lot. But so, Big Josh Boy, we had some nice vamping at the beginning. I very much enjoyed it. And we've spoken previously about a few things. I mean, granted, there's one thing I wanted to say. So, like, if I keep the vamping, you know.
All right, let's keep going.
See, for me, I could never grow my hair out again because, one, I'm going bald, so that's just stupid. But two, I like, there are points. Yeah, exactly. I'll just like, you know what? I'll grow out like these bits. Like all of this, I'll grow out all of this, but then when I take off my hat, it's bald.
Just nothing up there.
But like I have this issue where like I can never grow out my beard because eventually my hair gets too long and I don't want to go get a haircut and I'm just like there's too much hair on my head, so I'll like shave my beard. But then it's just like, but if I just got my hair cut, it would just be fine. I don't know. I hate seeing my hair like right here.
Oh yeah, that's the worst. The like the rat tail that grows.
Yeah, it kind of like curls. You're like, ugh,
yeah,
hate it. Yeah, it's fucking disgusting. And I stopped wearing my glasses so we don't have the glare. Just letting everybody know. If you eventually
like he got eye surgery.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, apparently I look like Gordon Freeman is what Will says, which I don't. I think that's just any white guy with a beard and glasses, honestly. So whatever. That's cool. A little bit of housekeeping for this week. The standard housekeeping, of course. Please check out our developer interview. This one is with Waving Bear Studio. It's about their game called Stuffed, which looks very interesting. It's like a teddy bear first-person shooter.
Yes.
Like, I'm into it, dude. I added it to my wish list. I was like, fuck yeah. This game looks sweet.
It's very much Call of Duty Zombies, but instead of you being humans or fighting zombies, you are a teddy bear and you're protecting a little girl who is trying to sleep at night from the other toys and evil demons and things. It's like her imagination getting the best of her and the teddy bears saving her. So it's you running around the house and opening parts of the house and finding different weapons and fighting all the enemies. And like one of the really cool things, the thing that I love is it's very small and it's like an intricate kind of like minute, like it's not really important to the actual play of it, but the guns are all like regular things you would think of, like a bazooka or a shotgun or whatever, but it's all made out of pieces of like household items. So the same way that you would think of, you know, just finding random pieces of things around your house and building something together that would shoot like rubber bands or whatever. Like, I think it looks really cool.
Have you ever seen the movie Small Soldiers? It's like one of my favorite movies. Yeah, so exactly the same thing. Like movies like Small Soldiers and Toy Story have made me love this idea of like toys coming to life. Like that's why I love fucking like what was it? I forget what it's called. That Army Men game. That's why I love just like shooters with Army Men, like featuring Army Men, or like the toy box games. Like they're so awesome. There's something so interesting and lovely about that, and so nostalgic. Because when you were a kid, you liked to, like, in my head at least, I was always like, yeah, my toys are real. Like, when I'm not looking at them, they're like weeping angels. They're moving around. They're doing stuff. Like, yeah, I fucking love this idea. I'm super excited for it. So please check out. It goes live on Wednesday, which is, of course, one day after for patrons, 2 days before for plebes. It is about the game Stuffed with Waving Bear Studios, so please check it out. Check out the IndiePod store over on Teespring. Got t-shirts and stickers for pretty cheap. Soon to be more over on there. So just, you can pick up the cheap stuff, you can pick up the cool stuff. We still got, like, next month we'll have enough money, so
We're getting there.
Yeah, I was just dating myself, other than, you know, just every other thing in this episode that's going to date this episode. Please check out our YouTube channel. It's just over, it's IndiePod over on YouTube. You can check out Josh's video reviews. You can check out my old impressions. You could check out these episodes completely videoized. I don't know. You can check them out on video. That's kind of what I was gonna say. You know,
video-wise.
Is the silver screen, the second screen. I don't fucking know. Remember when everything used to have like second screen experiences? That it was just like.
What?
No, where like
Second
TV
screen.
shows would offer second screen experiences where it's like, while you're watching The Walking Dead, you can use the Walking Dead app to get trivia on the locations. And this is what Andrew Lincoln ate and the size of his bowel movement while recording this scene. And you're just like, that's cool. Okay, I'm into it. No, you never fuck with that?
No, I never.
No? Okay.
Never, not even once.
Yeah, second screen experience were always dumb. Because you're like, why are you trying to distract me from your TV show?
That seems really weird. They're like, you know, this thing that we spent a ton of money on? How about you just look at your phone and learn this random fact instead?
I mean, I guess the like easy, like one of the coolest ways it's been done is the Fallout Pip-Boy, like the map that you could get for Fallout 4.
Yeah.
That was really cool, honestly. Even though most people just used it to watch porn hands-free, but it was really cool. Admittedly, I mean, I got the Pip-Boy. If I wasn't afraid it would get like all sweaty and gross, like I would be into it, but I'm a chunky boy. So please leave us reviews on any sort of platform you could do so. Specifically, iTunes really helps us out, and we will make sure we read new reviews on there. I also got to like tweet about that. You know, it's a thing.
We'll get there.
And lastly, thank you so much to all of our $3 and higher patrons. We've got Will C, Mixomatosis, a.k.a. Mix, Zach Durham, Chase Hopkins, Philip Renshaw, the Wombat Emperor of Australia, Chris Pennell, always drinking tea. So much so that he's just like, he's off. He's just like, this shit's going on with Mr. Chris Pennell. Just too much tea, bro. We've got Josh Nichols, a.k.a. Active Josh, and lastly, Sam Billion from Canada. Thank you all so much for being patrons. You're all so amazing. And let's talk about some indie games. So this week, Josh, in a sense, has been playing something that he wants to talk about. Yeah. It is IWOCON. So, Big Josh boy, let's hear about IWOCON.
Yeah, so, you know, I've had kind of a busy week. And I haven't really, like, I've played a bunch of games, but they're all games that I've talked about before. So I didn't really want to just go on a rant about how, like, I love Gunfire, or, you know, I'm playing Isaac again, or whatever it is, because you'll get that next week when Repentance drops. But one thing I did want to shout out, and I admittedly haven't had a ton of time to dive into this, but I think it's such a cool idea. There is IWOCON, which it's by the people called Indie World Order. You might have noticed this if you're into, you know, the indie game scene, especially on Twitter. A lot of indie devs have been posting out like, hey, I'll be part of IWOCON. It's really fucking cool. Remember when we talked about all the way back when E3 was last year and we were like, wow, no one can be in person. and it was a big thing. Well, yeah, that sucked and it still sucks. But Devolver Digital did that really cool video game based, like walking through a conference, and I was like, how fucking cool is this? Like, this would be great. And we had a whole like 30-minute discussion or so of like what we thought conventions would change into and where we would like them to go. And this is like very much a next step into what I would like to see for conventions. So IWOCON, what they did was they've implemented a video game that you can download on Steam. It's free to play. And it's almost like this pirate adventure game where you're given a number of pirate avatars that you could choose from, and you get to play as that character. And it's kind of like a 3D inside of Unity or something, where you're walking around, you're able to get into sailboats, you're able to use the actual boats and blow things up and use the cannons to just like destroy things. You sail around to different islands, and each of those islands have a number of convention booths that you can go to so that you can see different games. You can look at their trailers. You could see different, companies that are either doing something in the indie game space or voice acting or something to the nature that you would see on the floor of a convention. People trying to sell their products, people trying to promote their stuff, different games, whatever it might be. And you're able to run around as this little pirate adventure character and basically, jump, hop, and run around. And there's like collectibles and things. There's like coins that you can collect. And there's, like I said, the ships that you're able to shoot. And then as you get there, you're able to look at these booths that have these videos that are playing. There's links that'll quickly open like a Google Chrome browser or whatever your normal browser is to look more into whatever that game is, whatever that company is. And it's really cool. I think that it is such an interesting step in the right direction. And then here comes the negative is it's kind of, and granted, this is free, but it's kind of buggy. I jumped on something and fell through the world multiple times, which whatever. It has been said amongst a larger community that the game has crashed for a number of people, that it's kind of tough for people to play because of their existing computers, because not everyone has a good enough graphics card to or processor to actually play this. Mm-hmm. This is where I'm hoping that eventually these conventions go, because this is a great first step. Like, I don't want to detract anything from the idea of this. I think it's super cool. I think it's such a great way to try and promote another facet of like trying to get you invested into looking at different games and things like that. But I think that it in some ways can detract a little bit because maybe there are too much collectibles, or maybe there's not enough focus, because when you get on that first island, it's not very streamlined as to where to go or how to get to anywhere. Or like, there's basic tutorials, but I think it could have been a little bit clearer to be like, here's whatever. That being said, I think that it would be nice in the future to go towards and this is obviously like, I don't think a company like this, or a creator, a supporter like the Indie World Order, I don't think they'd be able to get the resources to do this. But I'd love some of the bigger name brands to do something like this, to create something that is hosted on a server that you're actually streaming.
Yeah, like some xCloud or like a browser-based game.
And don't get me wrong, this also comes with, my idea comes with the issue of like people who have lower bandwidth, and that becomes their hiccup. But like, I think that
granted,
makes
there are always going to be problems with
right,
things, but
right.
if you do it like in a cloud, it's far more possible that more people will get to play it.
Yeah.
Versus here,
it becomes an issue,
technical limitations,
because you have to download a pretty big file to get this to actually start, right? Because it's you're basically downloading a game. So you have to download this file to actually get in here. And then a lot of what you're getting is a lot of just links to things that will open up elsewhere. So it's really, it doesn't justify it in certain ways, other than it's a cool and interesting step. But like, I'd love to see it streamable, because then you would pop it in, as far as, like a Google Chrome or whatever browser you're using, you would just go to that URL, you'd be inside, you'd be able to pick it. And you then at any point be able to launch a demo right there if everything is hosted off of that. You'd be able to watch that video, you'd be able to play that demo, and it would all just go right in there. I think that future-wise is where, like, what I want to see, and I think this is a step in the right direction. And I think it's also just an incredibly cool, just a very interesting idea and a good way to set up a lot of indie devs, because outside of this, they're also doing streams, they're also doing dev interviews, they're also doing, you know, a number of things of getting people who are content creators to stream those games that are being presented in here. So they're creating this whole convention like experience, but just different pieces are kind of in different areas, which is a little bit scattered. But like, I love the initiative of this, and I just wanted to give it a shout out and kind of just rant about like where I would want to see this go. But otherwise, I think it's a great first step.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. I loved it when Devolver Digital did it, and I think it's really awesome that Indie World Order is doing so. I definitely do. Like, I see how like hard it would be to get a lot of people into this, because
this is a crazy amount of work that they had to go through.
Yeah, I would imagine so. And I think it's cool that like I've seen a couple things like they have some booths in there that aren't just for like indie developers, but they also have like indie content creators. I think that's cool, because it's like, granted, people who are going to check this out are also like, they're checking out for indie games, but you can also showcase like indie commentators and stuff like that will help them also stay informed.
Speaking of which, IWOCON, where's our fucking invitation?
I was thinking, like, next time, if they ever do this, maybe I'll reach out and see if we can get some sort of, like, dumbass indie pod booth. But I think this is really, really awesome. I think it's amazing. I think it's great that you get to play for free. It makes sense it's a little buggy, because this is, like, their first attempt at it, as far as I know.
It's also a crazy thing to do. Like, this isn't something that's just an easy, like, pop it up and you're like, oh, here's a video game. Like, that's not the way games work. That's not the way, you know, conventions are extremely difficult, even if it's just you're in person and you're literally setting up a booth with just, you know, static imagery and like getting all the assets and things together and whatnot. Like, it is a ton of work just with that alone. And then you put in, also develop a full game and environment for you to travel in for this. And you're like,
yeah, make it fun.
Exactly. Like,
don't just make a convention, also make the convention fun.
Yeah. Because this could literally have just been like IWOCON, and then they had like a very basic ass little like, you know, stick figure character who just kind of like walked from like booth to booth. And that could have just been it.
Yeah. Granted, that would still be cool. Like,
that would still be I would still be into that, but like, this is it like I said, this takes it to another level. This is where I want to see things go, if this, you know, if the virtual world is our next big thing, because, you know, eventually COVID is going to be over, as far as like what it's doing to our businesses and our society, as far as like we're getting past that point and like things are going to return to normal at a certain point. But I don't think it's ever going to be exactly the same. Yeah, exactly. What is normal? Yeah. I don't think it's going to be the same. And I think things like this are going to pop up, even at the very least, if this becomes a more, you know, manageable thing. And as people do it, they learn, and they will, I'm sure, create, you know, reusable assets or things like that. Or there will be ways that other people can learn from, you know, things that IWOCON are doing or others that create this. And then it becomes a like, oh, well, you know, for the indie game developers or individuals who can't be at AE3 because they don't have the funds or the means, or they, you know, they have no way to do that, they can go through other companies like this or create their own, like whatever that might be.
Yeah. I'm very interested to see how a lot of people, like, what exactly the gaming space is like after everything happens, because like E3 was basically on his last legs before everything happened with COVID, and now it's kind of like, it's all over. Look, let's be real. It's not going to be the same. It's mostly just going to be online, I'm assuming, afterwards anyway. And granted, however much in the past I've talked about how annoying it is that everybody does directs, and they don't seem to understand that the concept of a direct was to make things easily consumable. Instead, they're just like, let's just
Can't wait for us to talk about this idea at Xbox One. I don't know if you watched it, but
I didn't watch the whole thing.
Okay.
No.
All right. We'll talk about it then.
Typically, I don't. Like, I don't watch all of them, especially because there's just too many. Like, I'll watch the Game Awards, or I'll watch like a Nintendo Indie Direct maybe, but like an Indie World Direct, but I'm not fucking with all these different ones. It's just annoying at this point. Like, I only watch them if I have to. kind of a deal.
We'll talk about it when we get there then.
Yeah, I'm loving the way, like, seeing how everyone is working through the coronavirus, and I'm interested to see if it actually continues. Like you said, returning to the new normal of things. I'm wondering if after everything happens, if they'll just kind of abandon this level of creativity when it comes to it, or like it's kind of like a competition breeds excellence. It's like it's not necessarily like, obviously it's different, but it's kind of like we are in hard times right now, and that has caused people to be much more creative about the way they get their point across and how they start to market their games. And this is an incredibly creative way to do so. Granted, I imagine it probably took a lot of work to do it, especially because we just don't even understand how to make fucking video games. It's a lot harder than everybody thinks it is. But, like, I think it's amazing. I hope this level of creativity continues, but it's also very possible that it's just like we actually kind of need to focus on doing our actual, like, returning to our actual lives and jobs after all this shit.
It's one of those things where, like, you know, I would love to see steps towards this, you know, fully virtual kind of world of being able to showcase these directs or these conventions for this smaller audience, or not really smaller audience, but this smaller scale where we can't be in person. But it is a good question of, like, eventually we're going to be at a point where we're all at a convention, right? Where we're all at, you know, the like, you can just go and fly out to wherever. But I think there's still going to be this, because a lot of people are seeing yes, there's obviously a benefit from being in person and talking, but, like, the amount of people you can reach from a virtual thing like this is so much more. It's so immense, and it's, you know, a much different approach that if it provides what you're looking for, like, why wouldn't you take this as opposed to actually flying out and spending a ton of money to go there to wherever it is?
Yeah, for, like, possibly, like, a minimum return.
Yeah,
like,
for both.
There are
and
a
this
lot
is
of
for
people
both.
who go to E3 that don't actually check out a lot of indie games. They do it to see the big games.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, if you had just a convention where people could check out indie games, like, from their home, I think a lot more people would actually check them out.
Yeah, and this is both, like, I'm saying it from a positive side of both, from a consumer point of view and from the developer side. Like, it's very win-win on both ends if you're doing a mix of both, right? Because some people are going to want to be in person, some people are going to want to be virtual, like, some people can't fly out to wherever it is, and they'll enjoy the fact that they get to experience it on some level as far as a virtual conference is going. So, like, I don't think that, you know, COVID going away eventually, or normalcy returning, is going to change the fact that we've now pushed a creative limit to design something that is in people's brains and is a possibility. Like, I don't think we're just going to be like, well, that was a cool idea, let's move on. Like, I think people will pick this back up. I just don't know to what extent, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, moving on to the game that I've been playing. I have played it a ridiculous amount this week, and this is something that Big Josh Boy was definitely looking forward to. I've been playing Loop Hero by 4 quarters. So last week, I told Big Josh Boy that I spent $15 on Elder Scrolls Online, and he was like, bruh, you could have just spent that money on Loop Hero. And I definitely could have. So I was like, you know what? I need something to play. So I bought Loop Hero, and fuck, this game is sweet, dude. I fucking love this game. It's like, okay, you always see the advertisements that are like, oh, it's really addictive and shit, and you're just like, sure it is. Like, people say Candy Crush is addictive, and I played that for like 5 minutes. Like, no way. Oh my god, dude. Loop Hero is fucking ridiculous. So you had talked about how it was easy to just jump in and jump out at times, and I'm like, bruh, I have loops that last hours. And I'm like, what the fuck? And it just takes so long. And okay, so obviously the premise of Loop Hero is you're constantly revolving around this loop. You're managing your equipment, but for the most part, it's an idle game. The most interaction that you have with the world itself is actually by just planting these tiles that actually affect the world in different ways. So you have like resource tiles that give you resources so you can build up your town, and even those kind of fuck you in the end, which is kind of hilarious. But like you build up your resources so you can build up your town, which this is much more of like a roguelite, because you have this small amount of progression through your base building. Granted, it can be really fucking hard to save up for a building sometimes. It'll be like, do like 25 loops and you can pay for this smithy. And I'm like, I don't even know how to get that resource. Like, what? Like, you have to unlock the library to get the encyclopedia just so you understand what this fucking circle is. I was like, what is that? I don't get that. And then I didn't even know that I could upgrade my buildings until just a little bit ago.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Yeah.
And it's so like, worth it for like the get more potions one.
Yeah, so granted, you guys have heard Josh talk about Loop Hero, so I'm just going to talk about my experience with it. I'm loving the game. Josh and I talked about this last night. You played the Rogue, so I think there's actually only 3 classes that you can get. Yep. There's the Warrior, which you start out with, then you unlock the Rogue, and then you later unlock the Necromancer. And each one plays in their own way. Basically, the Warrior is kind of like a tanky boy. They've got a sword and a shield, and depending on how you build it, they're very highly like into defense. Like they're about staying alive the longest. Yep. The Rogue is very similar to like a rogue, like the stereotypical rogue, where it may lack defense, but you can choose evasion, and you wield 2 weapons. So you go into like crit damage, the damage to all, vampirism, stuff like that. And then there's the Necromancer, who Josh has talked about in the past, how it's a completely different play style. It's because the Necromancer very rarely does its own damage. All of its gear is more based on how many skeletons you can summon, how quickly you summon them, and the quality of skeletons that you summon, which as far as I've seen, you can summon 3 different types, which is like a standard skeleton with a claymore, a big tanky skeleton that's like a huge Goliath skeleton with a shield and a club, which is really cool, and then like a stalker-esque skeleton that has like knife hands. Like it looks like fucking it's some crazy shit. Like it's pretty sketchy. So I play the Necromancer the most. Which I thought it was weird that you actually didn't play it that much. Like I dabbled in the Rogue
once or twice. Yeah,
that's like I don't like the Warrior that much. Like I said, it was boring, and you're just like, I mean, you don't do anything. You
don't do anything. You literally, I love that was your response. You're like, those classes are boring. I'm like, bitch, you don't do anything with them. Yeah, you literally put cards down to create the tiles around you.
Yeah, I don't know. I just found like the management for the Warrior just wasn't as exciting as it is for the Rogue and the Necromancer, because the Necromancer, you're like constantly just trying to build it to where like your skeletons get summoned faster. The Rogue, you're just trying to wipe things out like that, and which is awesome when it happens. It's so cool when you literally just like attack something and it dies, and you're like, that's amazing. Versus the Warrior, it just seems like the battles go on for so long, and I'm like, oh my god, just fucking kill it already, or kill me. Like I'm so done. Like Okay, so I'm in the second act right now. Yesterday, I finally got to the boss in the second act. The first act, I actually beat pretty handily. It took me a while to get to the boss, but I beat it first try. Nice. And I beat it with the Necromancer. So after you unlock a certain building, you can actually get these like special kind of like power-ups that you can get based on like a resource pool that you get from, I think it's just killing enemies, right? You don't get that from placing tiles or anything, right?
For which ones? Like you're talking about experience?
Yeah, kind of like the experience that allows you to get the special abilities.
The different abilities. Yeah. Those are just based on you killing enough enemies and gaining experience.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And so what I did in the first loop was, being the Necromancer, like it's all about like summoning stuff, but one of those abilities that you can get is actually to, every time you pass the campfire, you actually get like 3 basically like high-ranking skeletons just summon, and they go with you every day. And depending on how you build things out, you can actually like The nice thing about the first act is that you don't have all of those additional abilities that monsters have.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about like fucking the fact that harpies can evade your shit, or that what is it? I'm trying to remember. That gargoyles take only like 15% damage
So
unless
little.
you hit them on the turn when they hit you. Those piss me off so much, by the way. Like there's so many monsters that piss me off. Or that the goblins actually, like, granted, the goblin leaders actually have this special ability in the first act as well, where if you kill one of their subordinates,
angry.
they gain damage. Yeah. That one's really interesting. Do you ever have do you have any monsters that you avoid?
Yeah, the harpy. The harpy.
Really?
I never build the full mountain. I always
The harpy I never have problems with.
I place them where I do, you know, it's if you put 9 together, it becomes that
and
big
then it
mountain.
makes a
So I
mountain.
always create it and I go 3, 3, 2, 3, 3, 2. Like I never make a full mountain because
really?
I'm like, I'm not fucking with harpies. And then anytime goblins come up, I always destroy their camp right away with Oblivion cards.
Me too.
Hate
Yeah,
'em.
I don't even fuck with it. I literally, like, if I have a bunch of mountains and I know that I'm about to place a 10th, I will wait to place any more mountains until I get an Oblivion card. I won't fuck with it. And granted, like, okay, so you in the second act, or I guess technically you don't have to get to the second act, it just all depends on how you build up your camp. You can get like woods cards and thicket cards, which is really awesome because you get all these new cards and you can see things that you never saw before. Like I had never summoned wooden soldiers before because you can only do so by placing the woods and the thicket cards. But wooden soldiers also have this special ability that's just counterattacks. So they will not attack you, but if you attack them, you take damage. And so do you ever like fuck with the forest and thicket cards? Because granted,
No,
you
I
can
haven't
choose
yet.
what cards you use.
I haven't actually put in points to build that out yet. So I'm still rocking
really?
Meadow Mountains right now. I need to though, because the forest thicket and the river are like the two main ones that people say are like, once you get those two, like stop placing down mountains and meadows because those are just too good.
Yeah, I currently I don't know what rivers do, but forest thicket
like-
increase your attack speed.
Yeah, it like doubles. Anything next to it like doubles. So you just get like the point is to get insane attack speed basically.
Oh, okay, that's awesome. I didn't know that. I haven't looked at any like tips or guides for this, but I'm loving this game. So like when you place down these forests and thickets, after you place 10 of them, it summons like basically kind of a wooded area onto your loop, which summons these wooden soldiers that if you attack them, they'll attack you. But the funny thing is, they only attack the person who hits them. So if you play the necromancer, you never actually hit them. So it's literally just like a get out of jail free card. So the time that I fought the second act boss, all of my map was just filled with forest and thickets. I was like
this
a
is so
couple
easy.
mountains. Yeah, it was just a couple mountains and then like all forest and thickets because like I didn't have to worry. They're the one enemy that I never have to worry about. Because like unless you max out your skeleton, like your summon capacity, you won't hit them. But if you do max out, like, so you can increase the amount of skeletons that you summon based on your gear. So if like you start out with like 2 that you can summon. If you summon 2, then you'll start hitting them with like your spell book, which is kind of hilarious. But typically I never like they'll kill them so fast that you never have to worry about it.
Right.
And if you have magic HP, even if they hit you, they don't actually hit you. So it's just like, I ain't got to worry about shit, bitch.
Oh, damn.
Like, it's sweet. And you get resources, like, you get, like, a bunch of, like, wooden resources and stuff when you kill them, which, granted, you do from, like, every enemy. You get different resources, but...
Right.
Yeah. I avoid the goblins like the plague. I don't fuck with goblins, dude. If I get, like, I count, and I'm like, okay, I already destroyed, like, I'll get the 10 mountains, and I'm like, okay, I will not place. I'll get, like, 18 mountains just in case I forget, and I won't fuck with mountains after that. Or like I took treasuries out of my deck because I kept getting fucked by gargoyles. Gargoyles aren't that bad, but when you have the villages that give you quests that then basically just make monsters stronger with more HP, and it goes on a gargoyle, it's like fucking impossible to kill them. They kill you like every time. It's fucking dumb. Like it's
too tough.
Yeah, it's so annoying. So what cards do you use the most? We'll get off this in just a second because you've heard enough about Loop Hero, and it's such a good game. I would 100% recommend it to like anybody who just wants some mindless fun. $15. It's super fucking fun. Let alone the weird story to it that actually is really interesting. So like every time that you meet a new monster that would be considered intelligent, your player actually speaks to them and tries to get them on your side. So like when you talk to harpies, you're just like, why don't you join me and my friends? Like you join me in my pursuit to rebuild our world, because then you'll have like your range, you'll be able to keep your children okay. And it's kind of like salvation is completely in the eye of the beholder, and it constantly shows you this, where it's like the harpies are just worried about feeding their children right now. Yeah. They don't care about the world at large. Or like when you come across the vampires for the first time and you try to talk to them. I love that the vampire is both like this character that's fighting with its own humanity, where it's like, I really want to help you, but also I'm gonna fucking eat your ass right now. And it goes into that like monster-esque like scenario. It's so cool. I really love it. And then I love that eventually, like when you eventually get the wooden soldiers and you speak to them, like your hero's just over it, because the wooden soldiers start and they're like, you're just talking nonsense. Like, I don't even know what you're saying. They're like, you hit me and you will turn to splinters. And they're just like, they're obviously telling you how to beat them, but it's so funny because they're just like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, what the shit?
So weird. Dude.
I really love it.
It's good, man. It's definitely, it is, they fit very well with Devolver. Yeah,
it's so awesome. I really love the game, and I love, like, I have to say, the Necromancer is the one I'm best at, but I love playing the Thief the most, just because I think it's really fun, and I love that power-up when you can summon I forget what they're called, they're like the rat dogs. Yeah, I always get that one just because I want, like, an extra person to help me sometimes. It's just nice, and it's like a 75% chance, so they get
it's
in
pretty high
often.
Yeah, it's pretty high.
Yeah. Have you unlocked gold cards yet?
Yes I have.
With the
I have the Ancestral Crypt and I have the Arsenal right now. Those are the two that I have.
Me too. Yeah. Do you ever use either of them?
Yeah, so I always use the Ancestral Crypt on the Warrior, because what the Ancestral Crypt does is it'll make it so you don't get HP from items. But instead what you do, and it's kind of like risky at the start, but you basically go in there and anytime you kill someone with a soul, you gain 3 HP. So you only place down, and you could look in the encyclopedia to see exactly who has a soul. You place down things like the Rat Wolves, you place down the cemeteries for the Skull Warriors, you place down like the vampire mansions and the villages. I believe the spiders don't have it. If you get the blood clot enemies from creating 2 battlefields next to each other, those will have it. If you put the blood,
really, I would think it's mostly just like the beings that like speak to you for the most part. Like they obviously have souls.
It's weird. Like I think even ghosts have souls.
I guess they would be just a soul for the most part.
But like there's a number of them that have it. So you just place down those and you only fight those enemies to try and get, as much. Oh, like the goblins. Like that's the only time I'll keep goblins, is sometimes if I want to do farming for just like the HP of it. It's also why you do the place a village and a vampire mansion right next to it, so you get the ransacked village, because the more enemies.
I've only done that once, and I didn't actually do the loop with it in there. I just placed it down for the resources because I was just like, okay, I'm hopping out at the campfire, so I just placed all the cards I had.
You should
and I was
really,
like, I'm just getting resources.
You should really do it because it's tough at first, like to kill them, but once you get past that third, then it's basically like a much more upgraded village of just being placed down. Like the HP gain is so good for the loops later on. And then the arsenal you should do for the rogue because you get that one additional item and you can get magic HP on the rogue.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I use the arsenal for the necromancer because then you can use a shield, which is nice because then it just increases your defense, which I really enjoy. I haven't fucked with the ancestral crypt. But granted, I mean, considering how fast the rogue kills stuff, and it often doesn't actually get HP from like equipment in general, I guess. It's like, I guess you do from the chest piece.
The chest piece, yeah.
But other than that, it's mostly just evasion. Yep. I guess like it might be good. That's what's kind of fun about this is seeing how each one interacts. Like, did you know that? And I mean, it kind of makes sense. Did you know that the necromancer is actually really, really bad if you use the graveyard or the battlefield cards?
Really?
Yeah, they do way less damage. Yeah, you'll get killed by like skeletons and shit easily.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed that early on because I was using the battlefield and the graveyard cards, and then I eventually got to it, and it just like killed me like that because you do less damage against them, and I was like, what the fuck?
So weird. Yeah, there's so many little hidden things in it.
It is. It's so fun, and it makes me want to, like, every time I get a card, I'm just like, this is gonna fuck me, but I want to know what it does. Right. So I just start placing down cards to find out. Like, have you got the desert cards yet?
Yeah. I just got
so them. Granted, I never fuck with the red. I never actually fuck with the desert card. I just go with the sand dunes because it lowers enemy HP instead of everybody's HP, which kind of sucks. But I've been like, I want to see if anything spawns if I put 10 of them.
Yeah.
I'm just like, is something cool gonna happen? I don't know.
Gotta keep trying.
Honestly, the most fucking annoying enemy ever, though, like more than goblins, more than gargoyles, more than harpies, is the fucking worms. I hate them so much because, like, if they become a quest objective and then they burrow away, they have so much fucking health anyway that it's like almost a guarantee they burrow away. So I'm just like, I fucking hate this. And they just fucking piss me off every time. But Loop Hero, honestly a fantastic game. I found out that fucking road lanterns, like, all you have to have is 3 and then they could only spawn 1. Like, that's awesome. I did that once and I was just like, oh my god, I finally understand. Like, this is sweet. This is a great item. Like, because I was just fucking with them because I didn't know. Like, I noticed that it said that it limited the amount that could spawn, but I didn't know how much. Right. Until I placed 3 and I was like, wait, why is there only ever 1 monster on that tile? Yeah, and it's because it's stacked. It was awesome, dude. I'm loving it. Do you ever fuck with, like, okay, we're getting off this. This is mostly just me wanting to know if Josh can tell me how to, like, beat things. Have you ever fucked with the, it's the card, what is it called? It's like the Chrono Tower or something like that. It's
the one where it doubles things?
Yeah, it doubles, like, the effect of everything, but also summons those weird, like, spectral beings that are afraid of vampires.
Yeah.
Which is really weird.
I don't really fuck with them.
Yeah, me neither. I honestly, I just started using them at one point in time to increase my amount to get to a boss, because you don't have to put them next to your loop. You can put them on the edges of the map. And it doesn't do anything. So it's just, because they can't summon people because they have no adjacent tiles to summon them on. Yeah. So I just put them, like, on the outskirts, and I'm just like, it's just a waste of a tile.
Just filling it.
Yeah. Literally the only reason I have it. And I fucked with them for a little bit. They're kind of weird because one of their special abilities is that they give other monsters, other units, magic HP. They'll give them a shield, which really fucking sucks. Yeah, because... Yeah, if something's like a quest objective and then they give them a shield as well, I'm just like, Okay, so I'm dead. That's fun.
Too good.
Yeah, I love that. But the game is so much fun. People need to check it out. There's so much weird variation to everything. Like when you find out that if you put have you ever put a graveyard right next to a village?
No, actually, I don't think I have.
It doesn't do anything really interesting. Like, it's not going to, like, make everybody ghost or anything. Like, it won't be the ransacked town. But what I noticed is, like, when it goes for a quest, typically it tries to, like, it tries to make a monster that's already there a quest instead of anything else. So if you put a graveyard right next to a village, it almost always makes the quest objective the skeleton on that graveyard.
That's
which
cool.
is, like, if you play, like, a rogue or a warrior, depending on which ones you do, it can actually be pretty easy to kill him.
Right. Yeah. That's
But
good to
if
know.
you're a necromancer, it's super hard.
It's bad. All right, we spent like 20 some odd minutes on this. We should probably jump
Game's
to news.
fucking good, dude. It's such a fun
There
game.
you go,
I
man.
really love it.
Game
But
of the year.
our first news story of today is over on IGN. This one is just the ID at Xbox and Twitch Gaming Indie Showcase. Every game announced, including Nobody Saves the World, which I really think it's odd that they're like, just in case you didn't know.
They're really
Nobody
pushing that
Saves the
one.
World is there. Like the people who made Guacamole Drink Box, they made another game, and it's like, okay. Fucking chill.
They're really pushing this one. Granted, I like looking at it. I'm like, this looks like a Josh.
Seems
game.
like a Josh game.
Yeah, it
Okay.
definitely is.
So typically, if you've listened to IndiePod before, you know how we cover these. Most of the time, we just kind of like, we don't get into literally everything. Most of the time, we just talk about the like highlights for us of the showcase.
Yeah.
Was there anything that really, really stood out to you for the ID at Xbox showcase?
So it was long. That was definitely my thing that showed out to me.
You actually watched it?
I went through and I watched it later on 2x speed because it's a 4-hour thing, and I watched a good chunk of it and kind of like skipped through because it's literally like. Granted, I think it was super cool. I think it was great for the people who really want to be invested in certain games.
Yeah.
Because what they did was they'd have these two hosts who were basically like hyping the game and hyping different parts of it, and they would randomly show a trailer here and there, and then they would go to a specific game trailer that has the developer, and they'd do an interview, and they'd like talk about the game, and they kind of like went back and forth with that, and they had the person like the main head of Xbox ID talk about what it means to be at the studio and how they treat indie devs and how they try to help them and blah, 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 blah. Super cool. But it was super long. It was one of those things where I was like, I don't know that you nailed this because this seems like it doesn't seem like a showcase.
Yeah.
But still very cool. And there were a lot of interesting games. Nobody Saves the World is definitely one. There's also Death's Door, which is
Death's Door looks so fucking good.
Cool. There was one where it was like this puzzle game roguelike called Loot River, I think it was, that looked really nice. 12 Minutes got another story trailer, which I didn't really look into because I'm like, I'm already invested. Like, I'm going to play the game. Like, you don't need to tell me no more about it. There was the Astria. So the one like JRPG game, Astria Ascending, looked interesting, but I don't know if I'd want another JRPG just because I feel like I'm burnt out on those lately.
Yeah, the art style reminded me a lot of Odin Sphere, which I thought was really cool. But yeah, I don't think I'll check it out. I'm just not that into turn-based JRPGs, I guess.
Yeah, for me, I'm always like it's like every like one a year or one every other year, and I get really into it, and I'm like, yeah, this is so good, and then I like just dip off from any of those games because I'm just like, I can't do this. It's exhausting.
Yeah, granted, I think they said that they had like one of the writers had worked on like 2 of the Final Fantasy games. I think it was Final Fantasy 11 and I can't remember the other one.
Yeah, it was a couple of the Final Fantasies, which is like really exciting, and it's it's something that I think would be in a lot of people's interest if they like that genre. But I looked at it and I was like, yeah, nothing popping out for me that's like a must-have, so to speak. Otherwise, there were like a lot of games and some that I'm interested in, but like I think those were probably the only ones that really jumped out for me. If I'm being honest.
Death's Door was really the one that got me. It's by the same developers as Titan Souls, and it looks very much like it. I love the idea of like
The aesthetic
the
of
world.
it is so cool too.
Yeah, the world is just all crows, which I really love. That it's just like a bunch of like crow characters, and they have this like basically this world of they call it the Hall of Doors. I think headquarters called the Hall of Doors, which they go through, and it's very similar to the Titan Souls Boss Rush scenario, but. Honestly, the game looks fucking sweet. Death's Door, I made sure I added it to my wish list. It looked really awesome. Granted, there were a few things that they showed. So they named like 22 games are coming to Game Pass when they release, or at least on the consoles. So like these would be Art of Rally, Ancestry Ascending, Backbone, Boyfriend Dungeon, Craftopia, Dead Static Drive, Edge of Eternity, Hello Neighbor 2, Libraria of Ruina, I guess.
I think so.
Little Witch in the Woods, Moonglow Bay, Narita Boy, which looks really, really cool. I'd 100% recommend everybody check that one out.
Isn't it coming to Game Pass like in a day or something as well?
Yeah, that one's came in day and date. Yeah, Narita Boy. Nobody Saves the World, Omno, which I've been on Omno for a while. That game looks awesome. Recompile, Sable also looks really awesome. She Dreams Elsewhere, one that Josh has talked about several times.
I am very interested in that one.
Stalker 2, The Ascent, Undungeon, Way to the Woods, and Wild at Heart. That's a full list of the games that are coming to Game Pass, Xbox Game Pass, seemingly day and date. On launch day, they're coming to Xbox Game Pass, which is really, really awesome. And then they announced 60 games headed to the Xbox S and S. Honestly, I don't give a fuck. Okay, this is going to sound bad, but like... every fucking game. It's kind of like being desensitized. It's every time I click on an article that says a game is coming to Xbox Game Pass or Xbox S or S, and then they're like, it's coming to Xbox S or S or PlayStation 5 through backwards compatibility, and I'm like, why the fuck do I care?
Yeah.
Like, I get that I can play it on there, but it's not like they have their own... Like, it's not like they have... It's not like this game was developed for Xbox Series S. It's through backwards compatibility. Why are you pointing it out? It's just like, if it's backwards compatible, I fucking get it. Like, you can play the game. It just doesn't make any sense. So some of the games that they talked about were like, okay, there's a shitload of them. Obviously, there's like 60 of them. But one of the ones that Josh talked about was the Loot River. Loot River, then Narita Boy's also coming. Omno's coming. Rust is coming, which I thought was cool. Cloud Gardens, we'll talk about that in News Cram. But there's a bunch of games coming to Xbox Series X and S. Granted, it's also not super easy to get these consoles, so I think it's really weird that they're just like, hey, you can play the games on them. And it's just like, well, I mean, I could also just play them on my fucking Xbox.
Yeah.
Or like
I
PC.
mean, they gotta push the you know, they gotta push their products, which makes sense. That's what they gotta do. Like, they gotta make money, right? They have to justify the showcase in some way. But I don't know. I'm excited about it. Obviously, I have an Xbox, so maybe that's a little bit more of that. But like,
that's one thing that I wanted to ask you. Like, owning an Xbox Series S, do you actually care that these games are coming, even if it's only through like backwards compatibility? Which, granted, I think still actually like increases its graphical fidelity a little bit because
with a lot
it's on
of
the
games,
machine. But
with a lot of games they do. Honestly, though, I don't care. I bought Xbox, like the Xbox Series X, to literally play it as a Game Pass machine. There's probably not going to be a lot of times that I buy it. It's either going to be like, there's very little, like I might end up picking up that It Takes Two, because I reached out to see if we could get a code and I haven't heard back, so probably not going to happen. But like, I would pick that up because that would be a game where I could play with my wife, so it makes sense for me to be like, oh, she's not going to come into my office space to play it on my computer, so I'll get it for the Xbox. But like, otherwise, the reason why I got the Xbox was so I could have it as a Game Pass machine, so I could have all their first party titles, you know, day of. But like, otherwise, having this big list is cool, but like, if it's not on Game Pass, I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, honestly, I've yet to come into something, like run into a title that has made me like think I need to purchase a PlayStation 5 or X or S. Like, it just, hasn't.
And I don't think
really,
I don't
like,
think that's
nothing's
gonna
pushing me over
be.
the edge.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be a time. Like honestly, like there's obviously the people like me who are first time like the first investors. But honestly,
Yeah.
like there really hasn't been a lot that has come out that like from a PlayStation perspective, there's nothing for me. Like Demon Souls sounds super cool, but I'm generally not a Souls like person anyway, so like I didn't care. And then the Xbox one was just because I wanted just a console out in my living room because I haven't had that experience in a long time, and I was like, fucking Game Pass makes it too damn easy.
Yeah,
So-
Demon Souls kind of has me on the hook, but like if God of War Ragnarok drops and it's exclusive to PlayStation 5, I'll buy a PS5.
Oh, well, I
Like,
mean, it
that's
definitely
gonna
will be
happen.
exclusive.
Yeah.
There's
Well,
no
I mean,
way it's not.
apparently Horizon is on PlayStation 4. So Horizon
Yeah, that's
Forbidden
true. Yeah,
West.
yeah.
or-
I guess there are some talks about it coming to
think.
PlayStation 4.
Yeah,
We'll have
so
to see.
they are slowly going to phase games into being like just on these consoles because they do actually have to sell the consoles. But
Yeah.
and granted, I imagine developers are eventually going to get annoyed by having to build games to run on the
backtrack.
PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like you have to build it for the lowest common denominator.
Yeah,
That's
which
why
is
it kind
not
of
fun.
sucks when games come to like these like last gen consoles because then they have to build them worse than they could actually run.
Right.
Like they could
Yeah.
be so much better, but they aren't. So it kind of sucks. But
Yeah. But whatever.
overall, I mean, I think there were some reveals that I think Death's Door looks really awesome. Moonglow Bay looks very, very cute. If you want to be like an angler, if you want like a cutesy like simulation fishing game, it looks really
don't.
cute. Plus, early in the game, I think when it asks you to choose your partner, it's actually like a romantic partner, which I think is really cute. And like how the narrator changed based on which partner that you chose, seemingly, I think that seems very cool. But other than that, like, I don't know. Granted, I didn't actually watch it, but getting like the recap, don't think this was that exciting, in all honesty. But
I don't
that's
know.
just me.
I think showcases are tough, man. I don't think people like the only one who I think has really nailed it is Nintendo for some of their directs, and even then they still have a lot of stinkers. Like,
Yeah, yeah. And granted, everything is about managing expectations, but understand, I go into things with like zero expectation
Yeah. I think
of
it's-
what's going to happen, and then it's still just like it's kind of lukewarm because there's nothing like really, really exciting happening,
Right.
but there is still some cool stuff.
I mean, it's tough, man, because it's so from person to person, right?
Yeah.
Like there might be another podcast group of the anti versions of Josh and Vaughn who right now are talking about how this fucking blew their goddamn mind, and they were
Yeah.
like, "This is the best thing
See all
that's
those
ever came
games
out."
come into
You see that
Xbox
60
Series
see
X and
60
S? Can't fucking
games?
believe it, dude.
I'm fucking like, who knows, man? But like, whatever, man. To each their own.
So our next news story is over on GameSpot. It's written by Haley Williams, and it is Game Devs of Color Expo returns this September. Following the success of the all-online Game Devs of Color Expo last September, the event will be returning in its online-only format in 2021. GDOC Expo has announced that it will take place on September 23rd through the 27th this year, with submissions now open for both games and speakers. GDO Expo, sorry, it's just Game Devs of Color Expo. I really find it hard to like say that acronym. It's just a lot. I think it's a small O, like really throws me off every time.
Yeah.
Is now in its 6th year, and the expo normally takes
How did
place
you say it one more time?
I say GDOC Expo.
Oh, yeah. I look at that and I go GDoc, but that's definitely not good.
Yeah, like Gadak Expo.
yeah, GDoc.
It is kind of interesting. Yeah, it's normally done, taking place in the Schomburg Center in Harlem, New York. Last year's online-only event saw over 1,500 virtual attendees enjoying content that included
Nice.
developers' talks, interviews, panels, and a number of featured video games and tabletop games. So, granted, I haven't actually, I didn't know that this had been going for 6 years.
Yeah, me neither.
This may be the second time I've ever heard of this expo, but it kind of drew my attention because recently I've had obviously with everything happening in the world last year with the protests, and there's obviously heightened awareness of racial inequality in the world.
Yeah.
I've been thinking recently about how few developers and games personalities I actually know that are people of color, and I find it really, really weird. Like the other day I sat down and I was like, how many content creators do I actually know that aren't like do I follow and know that aren't like, I mean, granted, cis white males, like let's be real about it. There's not a lot, but it's kind of weird, and I honestly, it kind of blew my mind the other day when I thought about it, because I was always just like, granted, there are like a few content creators I follow for like anime that are like, I don't know their race, but also it's just, I've always found it weird that people are like, the games industry is so heavily dominated by white males. And I was always just like, oh, really? Is it? Like, being on that side, I've always been like, I never noticed, kind of a deal. But then when you take a step back, you're like, holy shit, it is.
It's everywhere. Yeah.
Like, it's fucking ridiculous.
It's weird. Yeah. And I don't, like, obviously, I don't know what caused that, because I don't want to say one way or the other, but it is kind of strange.
We don't know.
Like, looking from, it's weird, especially from my side and from your side, I'm assuming, because like I fall into the same bucket where I just was ignorant to it, and I was just like if someone would have said that, like it was dominant, I would have been like, oh, okay, like I didn't know. And like it's interesting that because neither of us really knew much about this either, or that it had been happening for so many years. And I think it's cool that it's continuing. But I'm interested to know like what is included, like what they're going to showcase from this. Just because
me too.
I don't know a lot of information on it. Obviously it's September, so there's still plenty of time, but like, I don't know. I just don't know a lot about it.
Yeah, granted, like last year, apparently it really took off and it showed some awesome shit. So I'm really excited to see this year, and I really want to like expand my horizons when it comes to like conventions and content creation, because I have no idea. Like literally it blew my fucking mind the other day, because I was listening to, granted, they do have like a disclaimer before these 2 episodes. So I listened to the podcast Reply All, and they recently had these few episodes about the like racial injustice that took place at Bon Appetit, the food magazine. And Reply All did 2 episodes on it. There was supposed to be 4 parts, but before these episodes, they like have this disclaimer where it's like basically that they did like they reported this incorrectly, like they should have reported this situation a different way, and it turns out that one of the co-hosts and the person who reported this actually like possibly in their past could have like seemingly did some racially insensitive stuff, and that they've now left Gimlet and all sorts of stuff. And just while like I just wanted to get that out of the way, that these episodes seemingly have something wrong with them. I don't know what it is, honestly, because I'm just kind of out of everything, but like I was listening to these episodes, hearing about like people in the food industry, and specifically at Bon Appetit. Dude, I've had such an issue saying Bon Appetit. Yeah, I accidentally said it like the other day to my wife, and then I was like, I just said Bon Appetit. Like I just said that. It's like it's leaking into my fucking life.
That part when the ironic way of saying it then becomes
it's tainting my speech. Oh no. But it's kind of interesting, like just once you realize, like once you kind of peel back the curtain and you're like, oh my god, there's too many fucking white people. Like it's such a weird realization. And I'm just like, I completely, granted, there were times before when I was like, I was always just like, oh yeah, like diversity hires. I always thought that people would kind of like take that in an insulting way, because it's like somebody's hiring you because of like what you were born into, instead of like your qualifications. But then when you take it the other way, it's like, yeah, that's kind of what white privilege is about on the other side. So it just totally like, I always thought it was kind of like a weird concept, because I thought people would find that insulting. But then it's just like, no, there needs to be more diversity in everything, because like just the voices and experiences and everything is just so different. This is also why when the protests were happening and everything was happening last year, and I mean, granted, everything is still happening, that it's kind of why Josh and I just stayed out of it, because we don't
What do we
understand.
have to offer?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I kind of just, I wanted to include this, one, to let everybody know that this expo exists if you didn't know, because I had no fucking idea. Once again, head buried in the sand. But two, I just kind of wanted to, like, I don't know, to ask our like listeners to think about the stuff. Like, I'm not trying to talk down to anybody, but just take a second and think about the people that you listen to, and you're just like, you'll realize that 90% of them are white, and it's weird. It's like, it's actually kind of uncomfortable. So I just wanted to talk about that. I'm looking forward to the showcase, and I think it's, I mean, I don't know if it's going to be awesome, because I have zero expectations when it comes to just anything with showcases now on, but I really hope it's cool. I'm super stoked for a lot of like the interviews and panels. I don't often like tune in for a lot of like that kind of stuff, but recently I've been wanting to know more about the game dev side, especially because of your game dev interviews, and just our push to like kind of get people to understand that game devs are also people and you shouldn't be dicks to them. That I'm very much looking forward to that, but kind of harped on this enough. So it is time for us to hop into News Cram.
Cram. Oh, I'm sorry. Were you going to say something?
Nah, I will. Not even a little bit.
Not even a little bit? All right.
News Cram is our weekly wrap-up segment where we, the hosts of IndiePod and Indie Games Podcast, cram you full of all sorts of indie games news. This week in News Cram, we have a couple of news stories, new deals and quick steals, and new stuff. Our first news story for today comes by way of IGN, where it's reported that indies continue to dominate the awards circuit, with Hades winning both Game of the Year at the BAFTAs and South by Southwest, as well as a plethora of other awards. Kentucky Route Zero? I don't know how to say the word. Kentucky Route Zero TV Edition winning Best Original Property, and Carrion winning Best Debut Game. Granted,
Really?
like South by Southwest was a little bit different, but most of like that is from the BAFTAs, so it's kind of interesting.
Best debut game sounds interesting because, like, man, I always go on the soapbox of like, Carry On was such a fun game, but like, I don't think it was like an award-winning. Like, there's certain awards that it keeps winning that I'm always like, really, was that the best debut game?
I mean, granted, like, best debut game is like filter through filter through filter. That it's like it's you both have to be like a new studio, never developed a game before.
Right. Yeah, okay,
and
okay,
it like had to release in 2020. Like, there's so many filters that it has to go through. That's why I find like when people are like, it's the best action RPG featuring a superhero protagonist in 2020, you're like, yeah, because there was like fucking
that
3.
was like the only one.
Yeah, like that kind of shit. So I would assume that.
Granted,
I mean,
once again,
I haven't played.
I don't want to say that it's not a good game because I loved playing it. I just, anytime I see it win an award, I'm always like, man, it was great, but like, I don't know if it was that great.
I mean, also granted, I don't know what it was going up against. I have no idea. Typically, they have like 5 or 6 titles that are nominated for each category, so, or at least a lot of award shows do. So I don't know who exactly Carrion beat out. But,
so
yeah.
fuck it.
Now over on GameSpot, where it's reported that Katana Zero's upcoming free DLC is still on its way, as well as the news that its size has grown exponentially, with it currently sitting at about half the length of the actual game.
Damn.
Which, granted, I haven't played the full game. I wasn't like blown away like a lot of other people were, but that's crazy.
They're about to hit a Silk song over here.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, they're like, we're just gonna. It's gonna be its own game. Man, who even cares anymore? And lastly, that roguelike third-person shooter, Risk of Rain 2 by Hapu Games, has just hit a massive sales milestone with over 4 million copies sold on Steam alone, not counting any of the console release.
Damn.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
That's a good
And
one.
just received a new update that adds a new Bandit Survivor, new lore entries, and much more.
We gotta play it again.
Fucking sweet.
We gotta play it again because that Bandit, he's pretty dope.
Have you played it?
Yeah, I have. He is so fun. Really?
Okay, how do you unlock him?
He's just unlocked immediately. Shit? Immediately, he's unlocked. That's why I'm saying we gotta play again.
Fuck yeah, dude. Oh, I was like totally, when I saw that there was this cowboy, like the fucking space cowboy, I was like, I gotta fucking play this shit. I gotta play it. And then I was just like, there was the immediate thought that's like, I'm not good enough at this game to probably unlock that character. So I was like, I'm gonna have to ask Josh to like carry me so I can unlock the bandit. But if it's already unlocked, I mean, I'll still play with you, but like, I'm playing the cowboy.
Of course. I mean, we both can be the cowboy.
Can we?
Yeah, you could play same character.
I thought you couldn't.
No, you could play same. We could be two cowboys. Just being cowboys out in the I almost said the sea. Sea cowboys. Out in space.
Be space cowboys.
We'll be space cowboys.
Dude. Hell yeah, dude. Space cowboys looking dope. Now on to some new deals and quick steals. Our first deal of this week comes by way of GameSpot, where it's reported that you can get hack and slash pinball game Creature in the Well by Flight School Studios completely free on the Epic Game Store from now until April 1st. Of course, April 1st is like this upcoming like Wednesday. It's no, I think it's Thursday. Isn't it April 1st Thursday? Yeah, it's this upcoming Thursday after we recorded this, so
no one
people
would get
who are listening on free feeds will not be able to get this, but make sure you follow us at IndiePod because I tweeted about this because you wouldn't be able to hear about it. Of course, the patrons will. That's why I made sure to include it, but for everybody, and so between April 1st through the 8th, you can get point and click adventure game Tales of the Neon Sea by Palm Pioneer completely free as well. So when Creature in the Well goes off, which I made sure I got it because the game looks really cool. You didn't like it that much, did you, Josh?
I didn't. I had no interest in it. Okay, that's not the right way to say it. I thought the idea was so cool. I loved having the mechanic that was very pinball-esque of you hitting a pinball and having to do different, puzzles and fast-paced combat. I just could not get comfortable with the mechanics of it. Just did not sit well with me.
Honestly, ever since you recommended Loop Hero, and it was a game that I did not think would be for me. Like, just checking it out, I wrote it off. I was like, it's not going to be for me. You liked it though, so I played it. Honestly, I'm looking forward to so many games that I didn't think would be for me. Like, I didn't think Creature in the Well would be for me. I'm going to play it. I just got on the Epic Game Store. I'm going to play it. I'm going to see if it's for me.
Look, I had fun with the amount that I did at up until the point where you had to start getting good with the mechanics. And I was like, I just struggled with this one specific boss fight. And I was like, you know what? This isn't clicking and I'm not willing to put in the time to get good. And I was like, I'm going on to the next one, kind of a thing.
You had my Cyber Shadow moment. You're just like, I like this game, but it's not good enough to actually give a shit about getting good at it.
Not worth my time. As I get older, I'm very much learning that like there's games like, because we both know it, like it's not like I'm instinctively bad at games. Like there are games that I am definitely good at that I can play. I play a lot of roguelikes. I play a lot of very challenging games. But when I get to a game that just like doesn't click with me mechanically, I just look at it and I'm like, I don't have time for this. There's too much investment involved.
Yeah, I totally get it. And our last deal of this week comes by way of The Gamer, where it's reported that you can get Abzu, Enter the Gungeon, Res Infinite, Subnautica, The Witness, Astrobot Rescue Mission, Moss, Thumper, and Paper Beast completely free on the PlayStation Store regardless of Plus or Now memberships. So be sure to go get those. Granted, also go check this article out over on The Gamer, because that's like 90% of the article that I admittedly, I try to never copy and paste things, but I did copy and paste that because I did not want to have to write out all of those fucking names or like to do my own thing. I was just like, you know what, bro, I'm not feeling it right now. So I copy and pasted it. But check out their fucking article, please. Go give them a click. They deserve it. Or at least the person who wrote this deserves it. I've heard some sketchy shit about The Gamer. I have no idea. Whatever. Doesn't matter. So, on to some new stuff. Our first 11 items in new stuff come by way of Nintendo Life, where it's reported that, dude, Nintendo Life's been on one. Last week it was 12. This week it's 11. I was like, can you fucking...
They're going nuts.
Keep doing a good job? God damn it. There's Liam Doolin at, bro.
Liam motherfucking Doolin! My wife is probably very confused right now.
Oh, yeah, dude. Oh, yeah. So, where it's reported that 3D platformer Demon Turf by Farbraz is headed to PC via Steam, Nintendo Switch, and Xbox One sometime this summer. I'm actually kind of interested that you didn't bring this up in the ID at Xbox thing, because that looks like your kind of game. It's
one?
like a 3D platformer, but it's got like hardcore Paper Mario
Demon
aesthetics.
Turf? Yes, dude.
Yeah.
It looks so cool. I totally forgot that it was even in there, though. But yeah, they're teaming up with Playtonics as their publisher, which I'm super psyched about. I've watched the person on Twitter for a while now. I've been following them. I am very interested in what that game becomes.
Seems like a Josh-ass game.
It is. It is going to be.
It looks really cool. So be sure to check it out, everybody. I like this resurgence of like 3D platformers, but with like a 2D perspective. I've seen like 3 of them. It's very interesting. That's like the characters just move like paper.
Super trippy. I love it.
Yeah. It's weird. It's cool. It's cool. That firefighting game Ember, so that's not with an E, by the way. Like if you played Pokemon and you think it's EMBER, it's not. It's just EMBR. Just keep that in mind.
Ember.
So, yeah, the firefighting game Ember by Muse Games is headed to the Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4 sometime this summer. That point-and-click adventure game Life of Delta by Ario Games is headed to the Nintendo Switch and PC via Steam sometime in the future. That wacky culinary simulator Epic Chef by Infinigon, I don't even know exactly how to say that. Infinigon Games is headed to the Nintendo Switch and PC via Steam sometime later this year. The dating simulator C14 Dating by Winter Wolves is heading to the Nintendo Switch on April 2nd. That 2D action platformer Smelter, which looks really cool. Make sure everybody gotta check it out. This game looks fucking dope. By X Plus is headed to the Nintendo Switch and PC via Steam on April 22nd. That RPG Dieland Pocket Planet Edition by Chebig is headed to the Nintendo Switch on April 22nd. That visual novel Fatal 12 by fuck my life. It's like AUEO Company. No. It's just
Nailed
it's literally
it.
spelled AIUEO and then company but with a K. How the fuck are you supposed to say that? I don't know.
No clue.
That's just weird.
Yo, you.
AOE Company is headed to the Nintendo Switch in Japan only sometime this spring. Apparently afterwards they're actually going to try to localize it into the United States, but I didn't want to include that because it's like, I don't know if that's true, but naturally, everything I don't include, I just include anyway, which is super fun. That 2D platformer World Splitter by Neobird is headed to the Nintendo Switch and PC via Steam on April 21st. That horror RPG Sunshine Manor by Fossil Games is headed to the Nintendo Switch and PC via Steam on October 31st. This looks like a Josh game, by the way. You should check that one out. Sunshine Manor. Yeah, I mean, you really liked Omori, so granted, I've only seen a little bit of Sunshine Manor, but when I came across it, I was like, this looks like a Josh kind of game. This kind of looks like
creepy as fuck.
Yeah, yeah.
This is
and lastly,
real weird.
It does. It looks real weird. And lastly, that farming action RPG Monster Harvest by Maple Powered Games is headed to the Nintendo Switch and PC via Steam on May 13th. Monster Harvest looks really, really cool. Errol, I know you're already checking it out. If you aren't, you need to. Game looks cool. It's basically like, the way that's been described in multiple ways is that it's like Stardew Valley, but with monster taming. And in my mind, I'm like, it's fucking Ooblets, but you actually kill shit. You don't just do damage. You don't just do dance battles. So, yeah, it looks very cool. Looks very cool. Now over on Twinfinite, where it's reported that multiplayer first-person shooter Sub Rosa by Cryptic Sea has just released in Steam Early Access, and that Metroidvania Axiom Verge 2 by Thomas Hap Games LLC is headed to the Nintendo Switch and PC via the Epic Game Store sometime this spring. Now over on IGN, where it's reported that popular survival craft game Rust by Face Punch Studios is finally coming to the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One on May 21st. Now over on The Gamer, where it's reported that chill puzzle game Cloud Gardens by Noio, I don't know how to say it, is headed to the Xbox Series X and S sometime later this year. I actually think that article on The Gamer is written by Chris, so.
Oh, shit.
Mr. Chris Penwell, what's up? Always drinking tea.
Himself.
That fishing game Moonglow Bay by Bunny Hug is headed to the Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and PC via Steam sometime later this year. That open-world survival craft game Green Hell by Creepy Jar is headed to the Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series X and S, and PlayStation 5 sometime this June. That 2D platformer Hoa, which is Hoa. I don't know if I said that correctly, but it looks like Hoa. By Scrollcat Studio is headed to the Nintendo Switch and PC via Steam sometime in April, with the PlayStation 4 and 5 versions of the game coming in July. And lastly, that roguelike action game Children of Morta by Dead Mage is getting a new DLC titled Family Trials, which will not only add a new endless mode and a new story chapter to the game, but it will also be completely free for all those who previously purchased the game. Yet there is no word as to when this DLC is to drop. Did you beat Children of Morta?
No, I never beat it. Never beat it.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, I still haven't
back.
beaten it yet either, so
Yeah,
I'm on like the second world, I guess.
Yeah, I need to go back and really like dive into it. Are you excited though? More content?
I mean, I'm actually pretty stoked. Like I said, I haven't beaten it, but I think it's going to be really interesting. Granted, like I still have a couple things to get over, like the whole dungeon fatigue thing really bothers me because it's like I don't want to play the other characters. I just want to play the ones I like. And there's only 2 fucking ranged characters. That's horse shit, but whatever. I'll have to get over it. Game's awesome. Got some new content coming down the pipeline eventually.
We'll have to try multiplayer one day.
Yeah, definitely. And to round out the group, plus it's over on Game Pass, by the way. So if anybody is listening to this and hasn't checked out Children of Morta, it's on Game Pass, so check it out. I doubt you'll actually get the DLC because it's very specifically said that it's only for people who purchase the game. Yeah. So
Game Pass, the whole big thing is Game Pass will never give you DLC. That's their like selling point, is to get developers extra money as you can buy the DLC, which is why I can't play the Outer Worlds DLC, which pisses me off.
Oh my gosh. And lastly, to round out the group, over on GameSpot, it is reported that adventure game Arctic Awakening by Goldfire Studios is headed to the PC, Mac, Xbox One, and PlayStations in 2022. Make sure you go check out that article as well over on GameSpot, because I did copy that last bit because I didn't want to write it down. They specifically said Xbox and PlayStation. I think that's because they actually have no fucking idea if it's coming to 4 or 5 or Series XS or 1, kind of a deal. So, yeah, check out the article 1 over on GameSpot. Please do, because I copied that part. Typically don't, but I really didn't feel like writing all that down. And 2, have literally 0 ideas. I'm assuming it's going to come to like current gen consoles, not last gen, like PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. I really hate that I have to do that with quotes, that people are having an argument about which one's current and last gen, but whatever. Yeah. So do all those things. And lastly, A Hat in Time's 2 DLCs seal the deal, and Nyakuza Metro are headed to the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One on March 31st. I'm actually pretty sure that like so many of these things that I wrote on here headed to the PlayStation 4 at this time. Also in the articles included headed to Series X and S and PlayStation 5 via backwards compatibility. And I'm like, I fucking stop doing it. Like in all of their titles, they're like, is coming to the PlayStation 5. And then when you like scroll down, it's like through backwards compatibility. And I'm like,
you know why they do that, right?
Dude, it's okay. Here's the thing. You either get to bitch about clickbait titles or you get to make them. You don't get to do both. Okay? And everyone fucking does both. And it's pissing me off. I'm like, just do one. Just stop it. It's pissing me off, okay? I don't think I make clickbait titles. I just write dumb shit. And people still click on it. So, fucking do it. Jesus. So now, it is time to liven this shit up and go into God Bless the Crowd. This is where the biggest of average Josh boys goes into all sorts of different crowdfunding sites, finds something awesome for us to talk about, and we do just so. This week, we are once again headed over to Kickstarter to talk about a game called Lone Fungus. It's a Metroidvania, or Mushroom Metroidvania, a Metroidvania inspired by new and old school. I'm gonna be honest, first time I read this, the first time, because I've only looked at this twice now. Until just now, I didn't realize it said new and old classics, so I thought it was just calling Hollow Knight old, and I was like, it came out like a few years ago. Like, why are you saying it's as old as Super Metroid?
It's a classic. Come on, you know, the classics, like Castlevania and Hollow Knight. They're like the same.
Exactly. So a Metroidvania inspired by new and old classics like Hollow Knight, Super Metroid, Super Castlevania IV, and Mega Man X. The developer of this is looking for $28,934. That is their goal. They currently have $6,256 with that's, of course, like as of the time of this recording, with 187 backers and 23 days left to go once again, time of this recording. To get in on the ground floor, if you live in America, you got to pay $21. Of course, your exchange rate is going to change depending on where you live. In Canada, it's even more than that. I already know. Chris has bitched to me about it several times. Yeah. So, Big Josh Boy, what do you think about Lone Fungus?
Looks pretty good. I like it. It looks very much like if you're a person who likes Metroidvanias or enjoyed Hollow Knight, I think you should give this one a look, because it seems like there's a lot going on. It seems like it's going to be challenging. It seems like there's going to be a lot of, you know, good type platforming and bosses to go through and different areas to explore. There's over 60 relics, over 15 unlockable abilities, a ton of unique areas. Like, I think it's so cool. And I like the idea of being this little mushroom guy. Like, I love that you can change your little hat. Like, I think it's the cap. Yeah, dude, I think that's so funny. I love that they make fun of it at like the little green one at the start of the video
your
or
cap
something.
Looks weird.
It's so strange. But like, it's one of those things where I do enjoy, though, that they've put in an assist mode and 4 different difficulty modes, because that is, you know, when people look at Hollow Knight, that is a quick deterrent, is like, if you're not into that challenge, like, Hollow Knight can get pretty tough. Hard.
Yeah, that's a very good. That's something I was going to point out as well, that I loved the difficulty mode and the assist mode. I thought that was really nice.
Right.
The thing that I love most about this, like, of course, naturally, just like I do every time, I'm going to shit on something in this. But the thing I really want to talk about that I think is super fucking cool when it comes to this game is the spell system. Mm-hmm. So the way that this works is you use spells in creative ways. All the spells that you have actually change based on the way that you interact with them with your sword. So where you would have like a fireball spell, instead based on, so you'll cast like a little fireball into the air, and if you hit it from like the right, it will like cast out just a fireball straight, or like 3 fireballs. Mm-hmm. If you pogo on it, it will like do this massive explosion. If you do like a spin on it, it will cast them out in like different ways. I just think it's really cool. I love that people are really starting to, it seems like people are actually starting to give a shit and experiment with magic systems.
Right.
So like I watched this, I follow like several RPG channels on YouTube, but the videos I really like are talking about like different experimental magic systems. Specifically, somebody brought up Two Worlds 2, how the game itself might be a little bit mediocre, but the magic system is really, really cool, where you can build your own spells and all sorts of stuff. And I love games that try to get creative with their magic systems. This looks so cool that I'm just like, I would love to check out and just sit there with the magic and try to find out my perfect combination and how exactly it works. But the one question I want to ask you is, do you think the high price point is a deterrent? Because I do.
It's a good question. I think it's not a deterrent in regards to this being a success, but I think there are going to be a lot of people that look at this and say, I don't know if I'm willing to invest $21 or whatever that, exchanges to in your currency.
Yeah.
Because there is the notion that when you look at a Kickstarter, you're like 15 is like the the golden price, so to speak, of where people are like, yeah, this is great. But I think, I think it makes sense because honestly, if we want to get real about it, like $15 is not a lot.
Yeah.
And if it's a full-fledged game, then like it's going to be much, much more. But you are investing in this, and that's kind of the whole deal with it. I don't think that it's going to be something where people who are interested in this genre or this style or the challenging combat, like I don't think that's going to deter them. I think people who might not be just avid lovers of this style of gameplay will probably be turned off because they'll be more in the bucket of like, I'll wait until this comes out and see what it's like, right?
Yeah, for me personally, I think the game looks really, really cool and it has a lot of really interesting ideas, but like what I've watched of it, I don't feel like it's polished enough to justify a $21 price point, at least from mine. Like when you say justify, that sounds kind of fucked up, but it's just
it's a personal thing.
Yeah, while looking at it, I'm just like, okay, I like the art style, but it seems a bit unrefined, and the combat at times, or at least the platforming, seems a bit floaty. And when I compared that, a $21 price point, to like if I was somebody with very similar tastes looking at possibly buying Lone Fungus or buying Hollow Knight, which is very pinpoint, and it's $15 versus $21. And granted, this is just like how much it costs on Steam. I mean, it might go down, it might go up. I have no idea when on Kickstarter when it eventually comes. But yeah, I think the game is really, really cool. But for me, the $21 is a little bit high. Yeah,
I mean, I think it's just kind of the nature of it. But I think it makes sense because realistically, if you as a developer have crunched the numbers and seen that you need XYZ amount to be successful, and you say that $15 pledges is not going to get you there, then I think it's probably more feasible that they fail at a Kickstarter and then, go back to the drawing board and fix something up and then have enough of that polish to kind of convince others like you. Because I am right in that same boat where like I look at the UI and I'm like, it kind of looks like even just that alone, I kind of wish they had cleaned up. Like I look at that spells and relics window and I'm like, this looks awful. Like it very much.
There's
like,
a lot.
Yeah, it's like it's way too much. You don't know what you're looking at. It very much looks like old Windows XP type shit, like very old school, which is like, and I'm not trying to like attack them in this. I just think that they're, this is first stage of something. This is them putting things in a box and being like, we've gotten these things in. We don't need to worry too much about UI and stuff like that. But if you're showcasing it, obviously people are going to look at it. And like little things like that from a polished perspective, obviously they can go and change that and come back and do it, blah, blah, blah. That being said, I don't particularly think they're going to fail at this. I think they still have, enough time. I think that there is a good amount of people who will look at this and be like, yeah, this is the style I like. This is the genre I like. There's a lot of people who love Metroidvanias out there. I don't think they'll fail. I think, maybe it'll keep them from getting to crazy tiers, right? Of expansion, but that's fine. I think that's okay. And I think it's still worth it. I'm not going to pick it up because I really enjoy this, but like, to be honest, Metroidvanias, I think I mentioned this the other podcast, like last week, that Metroidvanias are fun to me, but they're not like my genre that I just jump to. They're not something that it was during our book club thing when I was talking about Cyber Shadow. But I don't know. I think the boss fights, they look interesting from the little like jumpy guys. Like I like their design of being able to pogo around things, and like that's kind of what they're going into of using that ability of jumping around. Feels very Hollow Knight-esque, but I still enjoy it. I think that's a good thing. I think, like you mentioned, the spell system is kind of crazy that it's based on how you attack it. It'll do a different, type of effect. Like, I think there's a lot here. Like the idea of Kickstarter being a place for, do you think this game has potential? Like 100%, I think this game has potential. We'll just have to see if people are willing to, you know, put in that $21 or whatever exchanges to you price point.
Yeah, I almost kind of feel bad that I like so often we come across Kickstarters like this where I do think that they have so much potential, but I'm like, I'm just gonna wait till it comes out and get it on sale. I'm so glad to spread the word. I love to do that, but I don't know that I want to be the person that gives them $21.
I know.
Like there are those like I backed Haiku the Robot. That one was like $15 and I just like I really loved it. I have backed Kickstarters before, but there are like some that I think have just so much potential, but I'm like, the price point just isn't right for me. It can be for other people. When I said like is holding it back, I didn't mean that it wouldn't succeed, because I definitely think it will. I think this game has that much potential. And I personally, I'm probably going to check out the demo, because I think like I really want to check out and see if it feels floaty. Yeah. But I think even if I really, really fall in love with it, I don't think I'll back it, because $20 right now is just kind of a steep price.
I mean, so here's the thing.
For me specifically.
Yeah, no, I know what you meant. Yeah. Like, here's the thing is everyone's at a different place in their life, right? Everyone's at a different area. Everyone, you know, consumes products or will purchase products at a different comfort level. And I think that's kind of like the nature of Kickstarters, right? Like, I don't think we should feel bad if we don't pick up one, even though we talk about like, oh, this is probably good, because like that's the point, right? Is there's people out there who are going to do it. We see it every day. There's Kickstarters that are succeeding. There's Kickstarters that are failing. You know, like it just depends, right? There's people out there, because the world is filled with like so many fucking people, that I don't feel bad when I don't back a Kickstarter, as long as we're doing our part of like pushing like, hey, this is out there. If this is something you really love, you should look into it. And that's what I always say at the end of each one of these things, where I say, you know, like, if you're a fan of this, if you're a fan of blah, 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 you should check it out at the very least, to just look at it and be like, is this a thing I could possibly want? If not, then move on, right? Or you know, share it and then move on. Like, I think it's fine. But you know, it's everybody has a different place on whether they feel right about doing it. What I think is interesting is, because what I'm getting to as a like more of a personal note is, I'm getting to a point where I look at buying games and I think, why? Because Game Pass is the thing. And I think this is an interesting endeavor. And you know, maybe I'm just in this because I'm clearly a Game Pass like you know,
super fan.
Yeah, I wouldn't say super fan, but like,
get a Game Pass tattoo.
You're
gonna get a best deal in gaming tattoo. Just
dude,
right,
you know
there
what?
on your arm.
I was, when the Xbox ID thing happened, and I was like watching it, I was like, fuck, I want a job as like one of the Xbox ID people to like help indie game developers and shit like that. And I was like, how do I fucking find out how to do that? Like, that would be so cool. I was like, can I fucking make videos for your team or something? Like, fucking hit a boy up. Like,
working with ID at Xbox would be awesome.
I'm like, what you got for me? So if anyone from Xbox is listening, which I don't know why the fuck they would, but like, if you are, like, I'll fucking work for you. Hit me up. But anyway, so so like, when I think of that now, I think it's such an interesting deal, where I feel like a lot of people are gonna have that same feeling of like, do I wait for this to just come to Game Pass and like make this gamble of maybe it'll show up?
There's so many games that I think about buying that I'm just like, maybe it'll eventually be free though.
Maybe I won't have to though.
I think like maybe 1 out of 10 games I actually buy for full price. I think even if I purchase a game, I just wait for like the deepest sale. Yeah. Like the only game, granted, I bought Loop Hero for full price and I bought Neo for full price. Neo because I had to stream, and Loop Hero because I was like, it's $15 and Big Josh Boy says it's great. Like, I need. And it was fucking great. Let's fucking do it. Yeah, and I've not even joking. How much time do you think I put into Loop Hero?
How about 15 hours?
Like over 20.
Woo, baby.
Yeah, I play it like while I'm working, which I shouldn't. But while I'm working, I play that fucking shit all day. It's crazy. Like, I'll be like, man, like, honestly, the other day I was like on ESO and I was like doing my shit and I was like, fuck. I just like logged off right there. I was like, gotta play some Loop Hero.
Gotta get to Loop Hero, baby.
Gotta play some more. So we've heard enough about Loop Hero though.
That's true.
So Big Josh boy, any last things you want to talk about with Lone Fungus? Once again, Lone Fungus over on Kickstarter. Please check it out if you are a fan of Metroidvanias, especially those inspired by Hollow Knight, Super Metroid, Super Castlevania IV, or Mega Man X. Yeah. Head over there. Still got 23 days left to go as of the time of this recording. When the patrons get to listen to this, which is like, they'll still have like 20 days left. You guys check it out. Plebes, check it out. Everybody, check it out. Seems pretty interesting. But Big Joshua, any last thoughts?
No, I think you covered it great.
Okay, awesome. Now it's time for us to head in. It's time for us to head into our last segment of the podcast. These are our listener questions. Philip Renshaw, the Wombat Emperor of Australia, writes in and says, if you had to live in another time period in the past, no speculative future bullshit, which time period would you choose? So Big Josh boy, what time period would you choose?
Yeah, so I have a little bit of a story for you before we go into that.
Okay.
So first thing is, I have a good buddy of mine that I always talk to on Discord. And the other day I was reading these questions because I usually read them like a day or so ahead just to kind of get my mental juices flowing, even though I usually give bad answers anyway. But one of the things we started to talk about, he was like, I'd pick yesterday, he said. And I was like, yesterday? I was like, that's so stupid. And he's like, no. He's like, yesterday, but every day would be yesterday. And I was like, so you'd be living in Groundhog Day? Like it just keeps happening? And he's like, no. Every day
about a time loop
is yesterday. Yeah. Meaning, he's like, today is Sunday. That's the day we're recording. He's like, tomorrow would be yesterday, so it'd be Saturday. And he's like, and then you'd go to bed, and then it would be Friday. And so I was like, oh, you're basically living your life in reverse. And he's like, yeah. And so we went on this whole weird thing where I was like, that'd be so interesting. And I was like, could you make different choices? And he's like, yeah. And as long as you go to bed, it would be yesterday. So consequences wouldn't matter. And I was like, that is so interesting. I was like, yeah, as long as you don't kill yourself. He's like, yeah, you could even do it. He's like, as long as even if you're in a jail cell, as long as you go to bed, you'll wake up yesterday. I was like, that's such a weird... That is
an interesting idea.
Yeah, I was like, that's so cool. And I was like, would it pendulum swing? Like you hit age 0 and then you like swing back and you have to start living your life back again like normal? And I was like, I don't know. It was like the weirdest conversation that started just from this question. And so it was a really good back and forth. So Philip, thank you for that, first off. Second off, this is going to go into my white male privilege that we talked about a little bit before. I think just about any time period is kind of okay, except for when they were killing, Jews, the Holocaust, because that would probably be pretty bad for me.
Yeah.
So I think I could go anywhere and I'd be pretty fine. But if I had to pick one,
would you choose though?
If I had to pick one, I think I would go to maybe the 70s. Maybe the 70s.
Oh, okay.
See, I don't want to go too far because
then you have to deal with dysentery. Like that's my fucking deal. I don't want to shit myself to death, but man, I want to be a cowboy.
Yeah, like see, I think it would be cool to be in those times. I also like the era of like you think of, with like the Dick Van Dyke Show or things like that, like the very old school, like you think of the weird like infomercial type, like this is Johnny, he's on his first day at the job, or like that kind of like bullshit thing. Like I feel like it would be interesting to live in that world because I know it wouldn't be anything like that. And I think the old school like I don't know, but maybe it's just fetishized because you only see old school times in movies or things like that. But yeah, I think I'd pick the 70s just because I don't want to go too far back because I've grown accustomed to a lot of things. Like personally, as much as I have qualms with like how the world is right now, I've grown so accustomed to technology and to modern like medicine and modern just like luxuries that we have that I feel like going anywhere back in time, I'd be like, whew, where is my air conditioning? Like,
yeah, I guess Phil does specify if you had to live in another time period, meaning that we don't just like pop back and I get to be a gunslinger for a day. We have to live then. Yeah. So it's like, fuck. Like, you gotta, like, really juggle because you're like, man, there's so many cool time periods that I would love to go to, but also I would have to live there. that would suck so fucking bad.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I love the Wild West. I think it's so awesome. I love Westerns. Godless on Netflix is really, really good if anybody wants to watch a good one. But it's like, fuck, dude. I would not want to deal with all that bullshit.
No
like,
way.
I wouldn't want to, like, fucking... You gotta sleep on the ground and you just wake up and a fucking rattlesnake bit your dick off. Like, all sorts of messed up shit. I mean,
It happens.
man... Dude, that would suck so bad. But if I had to, it's like, fuck it. Yeah, I'll live in the Wild West. I don't care. I'll live in that time period. Guaranteed I'd get shot because I'm an annoying little piece of shit. But, like, yeah. That'd be cool. But no, that is honestly okay, so I've been thinking about time travel recently, and I'm like, oh man, like, do you ever think about, like, okay, so if I went back and, like, to my, like, middle school days, but I had all my knowledge that I currently have now, not necessarily would you do anything different, do you think that you could live from that time point on? Because I thought about it and I was like, I don't remember anything about that time. So it's like you'd pop back and, like, you'd be like, okay, I gotta find out, like, who I'm dating. Like, if I'm in middle school, I gotta find out where my classes are, like, what time I have to go to class, like, gotta do homework and shit. It's like, I don't think anybody, when people are like, would you do anything differently? It's like, could you do anything differently? I'm like, I would do school, like, I would pay more attention in school, but then I'm like, I don't even know if I could remember, like, what fucking classes I had in school.
Yeah,
I'd be so fucked.
You definitely want to start at, like, day one of the school year. Not just
like,
drop
I
in.
would be so fucked. And it's just, I've been thinking about that a lot recently where I was like, I don't remember, like, really, I don't remember a lot of my childhood. I have a really hard, like, I have shit memory. So, it would suck so bad to go back in time and have to live through my life because I'd be like, I don't even know. Like, I love Erased. Granted, people shit on the ending. I still thought it was good. I don't know. I haven't read the manga, but, like, I don't know. Like, okay, so the idea is essentially this guy, like, goes back in time in his own life to when he was a young kid and is basically, like, his old man brain inside his young kid body to basically stop a serial killer.
Okay.
And yeah, and I'm like, how the fuck do you remember anything about when you were a kid? I don't get it.
I mean,
like,
you get acclimated eventually, right?
yeah, I mean, eventually you pop back and you're like, I guess I remember what it was like to be 5, but yeah, no, so weird.
Who knows?
So weird.
Interesting.
But yeah, I would choose the Wild West. Yeah, I would die so fast, but I would choose the Wild West. I would choose it. It would be cool. It'd be cool. That's why Westworld is so interesting. It's just like, man,
Good
you could be the
fucking
biggest
show.
piece of shit there.
Good
I mean,
fucking
granted,
show.
I've only seen a little bit of the first season, so I should
I've
probably watch more.
Yeah, I've watched first and second. I haven't watched I think there was a third one. I have not watched it. But good show.
So, second question from Philip Renshaw is, what's the best dad joke you've ever heard? So, Big Joshua, what's the best dad joke you've ever heard?
Yeah, so there's a lot, and honestly, it's anytime we have one of these type of questions, I'm always like, fuck, what is the best one? But I'll give one that I really love and I count back to a lot. A buddy of mine, his dad, it came from his dad, and what happened was in our university, there were two individuals. There was one person who was leaving and one person who was taking over his job. And I don't remember what the jobs were. I don't really care. But it was like this newsletter that came out and my buddy was talking to his dad about it. And so the individual's name was, their last names were Brogan and Pritchett. And basically going into the fact that one was taking over the other's job. And my friend mentioned it just kind of like, you know, like whatever, nonchalantly, just like, oh yeah, this person's taking over. And his dad whips around and really quickly, like without missing a beat, goes, well, if it ain't Brogan, don't Pritchett. Which was so fucking funny, dude. If like, why like it works so, it's layers, man. It works so damn well. The fact that he was one so quick at it and the fact that like I would have never thought of, and if people aren't catching that, it's if it ain't broken, don't fix it. But like so good, man. I thought it was the funniest thing.
My dad never really told dad jokes, and I never really knew anybody who did. So like the best dad jokes I've ever heard, I can't remember them because they never really had an impact on my life.
Right.
Honestly,
I love dad jokes.
My favorite dad jokes were always the ones that got you. They weren't like wholesome dad jokes. They were ones to get you to say fucked up shit. So it was just like, oh, what bait do you use to catch a squirrel? And it's like, squirrel bait. What bait do you use to catch a giraffe? Giraffe bait. And it's like, what bait do you use to catch an eye master? And you're like, eye master bait. And they're like,
Gotcha.
like that shit always, like I got with those all the time. Cause I would always like, the funny thing is every time you hear one of those jokes, you know they're trying to catch you. Yeah. So you're like on high alert, but it's like you're on such high alert. Yeah. You're like, you're not going to get me, that you just easily look over the simplest of things. And then you fucking say, I masturbate. And your friend's just like, hey, you fucking suck. I mean, granted, we all masturbated, but whatever, dude. No, fucking dad jokes are so good. Like, I can't say that I've honestly ever heard one that just blew my fucking mind, but dad jokes are great. Dad jokes are great. So, Sam Fillion from Canada writes in and says, what would you name your boat if you had one?
So first off, I just want to lay down the fact that Bodie McBoatface is the best boat name that you can and ever will be thought into existence. So there's no way to beat it. I looked up a number of different names, and some of them were pretty good for people who were just like, these are interesting boat names. My favorite was probably B Yacht, like B Yacht.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I think I would just keep going with it. Probably with when my friend and I were talking about this, we said Bodie McBoatface the Third. And the reason why we say the third is because it's such a clever name, someone has probably already came up with Junior.
Okay. All right. It's kind of like when you first joined Twitter, you're just like, somebody out there has got...
That's why I'm the George 90, baby.
Yeah, the George. So now I have to be the George 90. Yeah, I gotcha. Here's the thing, Sam. I'm never going to own a fucking boat. There's no world in which I want to go out on the water. Like, my dad owned a boat, and I barely went out on it. I ain't fucking with this shit, dude. Like, what would I name the boat? Nothing, because it doesn't exist. That's what I'm going to say to you right now, big boy.
The SS nothing.
Ain't gonna fucking happen. I do always enjoy the wordplay that goes into stuff. Like, granted, I once saw personalized license plates are always kind of annoying depending on what they are. But my friend and I, we were driving. We came behind this guy and he had the license plate cover and it said it's A, and then his license plate was K9 eat K9, and then it was world. And I was like, it's a dog eat dog world. Oh my God, that fucking blew my mind. And the weirdest thing was he in his rear view mirror saw us reading his license plate. He was like, yeah. And we were all like, we fucking get it. You're a cool guy. You're a cool guy.
What a cool
We get it. We get it. So never gonna own a boat. Never. Not in my life. I'll never need to name it anything. It's non-existent. So Sam also says, what big boy toys do you want to buy the most? I've been saving up to get my son, I love the quotations, my son, myself, a quadcopter drone. So Big Josh boy, what's a big boy toy that you want the most?
A big boy toy. Well, the one I'd want the most, and I know I'll never get because my wife has banned it, is I'd love to get a full arcade machine of a
for
IT,
DDR?
Yeah, an ITG
or
machine.
ITG, yeah.
Yep. I would fucking love to have an actual arcade cabinet. I always wanted one, and I'll never get it. But damn, would I love it.
I mean, on the same track, I want the Enter the Gungeon light gun game. So
that would be pretty
bad.
cool. Yeah.
That it's so dope. I think it's called House of the Gungeon.
Mm-hmm.
It just looks so dope. I love light gun games. I've always thought they were so fucking sweet. Ever since I worked at an arcade, I always I had to go through and test the machines, and it was just oh, make sure you test all of them. Granted, and I was I just fucking tested the light gun games all the time. I just fucking went to the House of the Dead. We had this weird pirate one, and I'd fucking swipe my little card and grab the little gun and be like, pop, pop, I was like, I am fucking Billy the Kid. I don't care. Like, I love light gun games. I think they're awesome. They've always they've always got me. I've always thought they were fun. And yeah, I would buy the House of the Gungeon. That thing would be so sweet. Granted, it's like $30,000. I would never be able to buy it, like, in my life. But
maybe not.
Super cool. Super sweet. So there you go. Big boy toys, never gonna own a boat, so F you. And
God dang.
That is the end of this episode. Thanks everyone so much for listening. I had to burp. If you would like to chat with us outside the show, you could do so in a bunch of different ways. You can, or be sure to follow us on Twitter, specifically IndiePod, at IndiePod. Super easy to find. Be sure to follow us because stuff that we cannot possibly get to or you won't hear on the standard episodes if you are not a patron, I am sure to tweet about it. Follow us for indie game news, for different like indie game showcases and stuff like that. Make sure to follow us at IndiePod over on Twitter. I will soon be more active on there. I've always been active, but I will be more active now that I can like mess with it while I work and stuff like that. Make sure, I mean, you don't have to do it. If you would like to follow me, it's at Hyde Legion, HYDELEGION. My Twitch is twitch.tv/Hyde Legion. I Twitch stream on Saturdays and Sundays from 10 p.m. to 12 a.m. I am currently playing Neo. Killed 2 bosses last night. Killed the Nui and killed some little piece of shit. It was actually kind of funny because like I have this one person who watches my Twitch streams and their name is Darf. They're actually good at Souls-like games, so they basically just shit on me for how bad I am at them, and it's a fun back and forth. It's basically just like, this boss is easy, and then I died like immediately. Whoa. It was awesome. Big Josh Boy, where can people find you?
They can find me over on Twitter at _Jorsh90, and Repentance is dropping in like 3 days or so.
Oh, you feeling it?
And once Repentance drops, I'm gonna start streaming again, and you can find me over at _Jorsh on Twitch.
Are you regretting taking on contract work now? The Repentance is dropping?
Oh, 100%, yes. 100%. But so I will see how long I stick with it, because I already know like I'm gonna play a bunch at the start, but like honestly, like there's gonna be no one watching me for Repentance. Like if you're gonna watch someone for Binding of Isaac Repentance, you're gonna watch someone who's quote unquote good or popular for it, and like everyone and their mother is gonna be streaming it for quite a while, so I know I'm just gonna be kind of like hidden down there.
Dude, we all know Big Josh Boy's good at video games, dude. He's good at fucking Binding of Isaac. People gonna come watch you. We all fucking know.
But I'll be around if anyone's interested and wants to see what's in the new game.
All right. So once again, going to go over our housekeeping. Please check out the Waving Bear Studio developer interview that goes live this Wednesday, I believe the 31st. So make sure to check that one out. It's about their game Stuffed. It goes live 1 day after for patrons, 2 days before for plebes. Check out all of our developer interviews. They're awesome. Big Josh Boy does them, and we put out one a week. Check out the IndiePod store for cheap t-shirts and stickers that will help you display your IndiePod pride, I guess. You can also do so by checking out our YouTube channel, where you could check out Big Josh Boy's awesome reviews. I couldn't remember the word. I was like really choking on it. I like had interview in my head, and then I was like, I know it's got the view thing. What's the word? You can check out his awesome Omori review. It's fantastic. And his Everhood review, really, really awesome. Make sure to check those out over on IndiePod on YouTube. Please leave us reviews on any sort of platform in which you could do so. Specifically, iTunes helps us out a whole lot, and we will read them on the show. And lastly, thank you much. Thank you so much. I mean, thank you much, but thank you so much to all of our patrons at the $3 tier or higher. We've got Will C., Mixomatosis, a.k.a. Mix, Zach Durham, Chase Hopkins, Phil Pritchard, the Wombat Ape of Australia, Chris Penwell, always drinking tea, so much so it bothers me, Josh Nichols from That Their Active Quest, a.k.a. Active Josh, and Sam Fillion from Canada. Thank you all so much for listening, and we will talk to you next week.